All right, it's been raining in parts of Johannesburg tonight, and we know that then everything gets worse. And of course, there's load shedding as well. My colleague Bongiwe Zwane has been moving from one part of Soweto to another. Bongiwe, I understand that you are now in Orlando East in Soweto. Tell us what you're seeing.
Good evening, Francis. We were supposed to be live with you in the previous hour, but we got to feel exactly what residents here go through. There was rolling blackouts, their schedule of load shedding, which meant everything is gridlocked. You're trying to drive, no street lights in some parts, and we're trying to navigate the potholes at the same time. There's traffic in some parts which is chock-a-block. You can't even get through. And eventually we made our way here. And just as we now got here, it's load shedding. So it's basically some of the things that they talk about, but they say that for them, it's an even bigger issue because they have a long-standing issue with Eskom as the Soweto residents, just as, you know, they have it in Doornkop. So, of course, this is an issue that is a Soweto issue, not just one township in Soweto issue. So there is, of course, some of those who are behind us here, who are leaders in this particular community, who talk about various issues that they are faced with. I mean, you think about where we come from, the issues of the roads are quite top of mind for those particular residents. You saw how bad the road was, but here it's a mixed bag of issues. It's an issue of, whether Kabelo Kwamanda will ensure that the City of Johannesburg under him is able to, through its officials, come to them as the residents, so they're able to have a voice in that draft budget. It's something that they've been talking about with me throughout the course of the evening. But let me not speak for them, Francis, and start by bringing a very familiar face, Mr. Seth Mazibuko, who is our host in the dark, who joins us live now. Dr. Mazibuko, thank you.
Welcome to real life of Soweto.
It really is. It really is.
If some of you are in suburbs somewhere, this is the real life. And this is where we are coming from, Tandiwe. And then we are saying, we have a problem that my leadership will speak. And you have people here, we have ward committees.
But is it as bad as it's been for us coming here, navigating potholes in some parts in the dark, and talk about traffic once you have no power? It's bad.
Yeah. So when you drive straight, you are drunk. When you drive that way, you are sober because of the potholes.
Wow. This
is the language. Otherwise, we suspect you when you drive straight because there's a problem. But let's just not even deal with that worse. The leaders that are here and I were sitting and watching all the processes that were taking place in the City of Johannesburg. Who's Kwamanda? We don't know him. And it embarrasses us further when we asked a big question. When we had hands being clapped and all the showers being put on him, we're saying to ourselves, we concluded, we said, they're clapping hands for parties, not for people. We're still waiting for the voice of the people. At the moment, is parties fighting for power. And let me assure you, my sister, the basic problem here is that, watch this space. One of these days, and I'm not threatening, I'm not saying anything. One of these days, people are starting to talk in different areas that they want People's March, where they're going to remove every mayor, whether Ekurhuleni, Pretoria, and Johannesburg, and put their own mayors, not party mayors, and put their own MMCs, not party MMCs, not negotiated MMCs. People are saying, first thing that Commander said was that there's going to be a presentation of a program that they're going to follow. Whose program is it? Is it ours? We're not consulted. We don't even know about it. The previous mayor, what's his name, the one who has just gone out, was expected here. They will talk about it, some of the leaders here, at Communal Hall, where he was supposed to address people on IDP. Can I tell you, that meeting did not take place because it was double booked.
Wow.
And these people are the people who wanted to present matters to him that are supposed to be included in the IDP.
And I want us to talk about those very matters. And that if you can just come closer and introduce yourself, because one of the things that you and I were talking about off camera is the fact that right now there is a critical process by municipalities of a draft budget that must be released for public comment. And you as the residents get to talk about that. And you are someone that's involved in what is happening in this community. So let's talk about that process. Have you seen it? Do you know? Have you been part of it even in the years before?
Okay, so my name is Mpora Dikhalo. I'm a resident of Orlando East. Last year, I don't remember the date, but last year there was a consultation by the city when the previous mayor before Otswileng Ole, Mpopalas was still mayor. So nearly consultation at IDP, right? So we did the processes as development program. Yes, as part of my the ward di tlile tse itretsa Orlando ne ko communal hall. As ward ya rona identified the 3 areas ne, which is by Orlando shelters opposite back ke ko morago ga police station. An open field e ka mo Donkey Church. Le mo di taxi tsa Southgate ne di banko teng because habana ba reking rank. We identified those 3 areas. So now no gona le IDP mo ma ke maba normal. We found out that he was double booked. The former mayor Otswileng Ole last year ne. So now yaka hokene o montsha o is he going to come back now at the same meeting? And when he does, those 3 areas ke di mentioning di tlo bana kwa re dumetse hore ke tsona tse re tla di presentang right as draft.
So ha go go tlwa gantle o consent ka gore ntho tse le di statileng le mayor wa before di tlo tswella pele and hape concern ya hao le hore le tlo kgona bua ka budget e tla.
Yes, we need to know that. Wa bona a re batle case ya possibly where you find hore re ka se consultiwe possibly because we have seen it locally where go thwa no gona le meeting batho na ba seyo dilo they were cooked. Dilo passes.
What was cooked?
No, where things will be cooked and where people will try to say things were cooked. So you see, you have those challenges. Arabato Ritole now, maybe, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying I'm concerned. I am concerned because corruption is rife. It's rife, right? Like Praset was saying, kidi parties and the celebrate more. Are they concerned about us? Because the parties are not voted. Are they still on what the people had asked before or something new because coalition?
All right, I hear you. Let me bring Mama here, who can just come closer and talk to us. I'm going to ask you, let's talk about some of the issues that you are crying about as residents, the service deliver. And is fine.
All right. And welcome to Orlando East. My name is Tembis Kosana. With me, my main concern as a resident and a leader of Orlando East is security. As you can see on your way coming here, you were also concerned about security. So when it's dark, like the way it's dark now, there's issues. You can't even see a police van anywhere because the police themselves are not safe outside here. So when I'm saying security, I'm talking based on service delivery. When we keep changing mayors, things keep going backwards. Nothing progresses forward. Why am I saying that? I'm talking based on, listen, my station, Orlando Police Station, has no telephone line, for one.
Wait, a telephone line?
Yes.
So you can't call, as a resident, you can't call your police station?
Let me explain to you. As a resident and a community leader, I work hand in hand with the police station. I'm talking this based on, I want the residents to also understand that some of the issues that we go through is not because of the police are negligent or anything like that. It's because they also suffer like the way we suffer. Orlando Police Station has no line. Why? Because every new management, new things are introduced. Almost every police officer in Orlando Police Station is using a telephone line from a certain service provider. But all those lines are not working. If you want to call, we have a pamphlet that was given to us. It has like 9 numbers. And none of the 9 numbers can go through. I can prove it to you.
So what happens when there's an emergency?
Now, when there's an emergency, we have what we call communication lines. We have groups in Orlando where we communicate in groups. Some of the police officers are in those groups. Some of us are connected to the police station. So we do a personal call to a certain police officer to say, listen, there's a problem in a place like this, so can you intervene or send the police? That's how we cope. Otherwise, except for that, there's...
Wow. And let me bring in the young person. Because in the previous election, you are leading the young people.
Yeah.
In the previous election, there was a concern about young people. There still is right now as we're going to another election that young people aren't voting. Young people are not coming out. And of course, these are the issues. And what happens in council affects young people as well. So tell me from a young person's perspective, and you're leading young people in this area, watching what is happening in the Johannesburg Council, how do you feel? Start with your name and surname.
Okay, hi to the viewers. Igama lami Mbali Zulu, and I'm a social entrepreneur. And how we affected and how young people are feeling is that, look, to try and build, because, there's unemployment. So as entrepreneurs, we're trying to build products, especially tourism products, to try and, make a living and create an income. And with the city, I mean, I've engaged with them since 2019. And from 2019 till now, there's been 6 mayors in between. I think this is the 7th. And as you can imagine, then there's no consistency. So when you're trying to build products that, tourists can appreciate, that we need the support. And, young people are feeling like, there is no support from government. So when you're trying to build, we're working very closely, Praseth Mazibugo, to try and build, 2026 will be the 50th anniversary, year 1976, like Soweto. And we're trying to make that like a big tourism activity, a big tourism attraction activity for tourists. And obviously that will then help alleviate poverty and empower a lot of young people and a lot of the community around. So with the disruptions that are happening, we're not seeing that progression, and building up to that, because obviously with every mayor that comes in, things start afresh, the change in office, there's change in strategy. So all the programs that we're trying to build, we do cleanup campaigns. And you can imagine when a new mayor comes, they do their own cleanup campaign where we believe in collaboration, and we want to collaborate with government and private sector and communities, and that gets disrupted.
So all you want is a continuity, not this chopping and changing, I'm hearing you say.
And, if the chopping and changing had some form of handover from previous mayor to new mayor, and there's a continuity in terms of community, that would help. But it doesn't happen, right? Because when a new mayor comes, then you really need to reintroduce yourself. So you can imagine, when the 6 mayors are there, we're trying to run a consistent year-by-year program. It's really starting afresh every year. You reintroduce yourself. So that disruption really creates a problem for our products.
So you've introduced yourself 6 times. Thank you so much. Let me get, wow. Let me get, and I know, we laugh, but it's the seriousness of it. You've introduced yourself 6 times. Baba, and I just want to understand, in all of what we are talking about tonight, Lipi what cancel?
Igama lami nguTimothy Msebi, a resident and an activist here in Orlando, and who deals with environment stroke waste management. Who pick it up.
Also, that's why they call you the dustbin man.
No, actually they are wrong. Actually, the right word it's a wheeler bin man.
Oh, wheeler bin. Please, you heard that they said wheeler bin man. All right.
Yes, the councillor is here, although it's not feasible sometimes, because the service that we are supposed to be getting from who pick it up, it's not as sharp as it used to be. Sometimes even this past Wednesday, they came late. Last week they came late. And the other time they didn't come, they didn't give us information what has happened to their trucks and all that, because they should give us that information that no, today or next week our trucks are going to be serviced. So bear in mind, take your dustbin, don't put it outside so that it's not going to be stolen.
So for you, you're crying. I hear you about the issues of refuse collection. Have you tried to raise these concerns? Because Umbali talks about introducing himself 6 times, because of the different mayors that have come on board. So who are you speaking to try and resolve these crises?
I do try to speak to the head office or the small department here, Paramol, and interact then with them. Your service is not up to I used to know. Every time you don't give us what we are supposed to be at, and people take their dustbin into felt, they dump there, and now we tried after the offices, they were used to people dump there, then we clean up, then it's now a little bit nicer. We want also the interaction with the other stakeholders of the city to help us. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And we're out of time, Mama. 10 seconds. For you, what are your service delivery concerns?
Okay, Lebohang Mazibukot committee member. This changing of the mayors did drag process here, Rona, because Rona receiver from 2022 to 2026. So now we want to work, we want to deliver, because it's people to the people for the people. But we can't do that because of the changing of the mayor. But start afresh, and I agree with the last speaker is say hand over. So the truth will service, because Rona, we are the team by Lembaikana who 2026 we are proud of ourselves.
So you're basically struggling to find people to talk to as the team that's looking ahead to the next election.
The changing yabona, yes, we are working hand in hand with our councillor to understand that, like journalist stakeholders selling that delay the delivery the services to the people. Like okay, the portal Orlando every 30 seconds, and then Councillor Haloka di call Hadi Lur, now we are able to look the cost, but Habatswar, the stakeholders so like Joburg Water, JRA, Banker Forever to respond. Our councillor will drive there like personally so it becomes difficult for us
Let me thank you all for your time, because I'm told I'm out of time. But Francis, you heard a lot of serious issues emerging here in Orlando East. It's not only about an issue of service delivery from the vantage point of the residents, but you're also listening to a ward committee member who says that she's serving until 2026. But when she's in office, she's struggling because she's not able to escalate issues all the time, because you escalate issues to different people all the time, even in council, because now you are engaging with this one mayor, and then immediately after that there's another mayor. There is no process of an effective handover. They cry about, also crying about the fact that a very startling revelation that the Orlando police station is without a telephone line. So how do residents who are in the dark, who are finding themselves vulnerable, make use of an emergency line possibly that the police station should have been having? So quite a lot of issues that are emerging here, Francis, and they're linking them directly to what has happened in the Joburg Council. But we'll leave it there for a second. Francis, we'll see you again on the road. It's raining here, and we are now headed to El Dorado Park as we continue to speak to residents about what they are seeing unfold in council and what are some of their views.